Hello and welcome to week 5 of the Scientific Triathlon Advanced Full Distance Training Plan. I hope you're enjoying your training and that things are going well and that you're recovering reasonably day to day and that you're ready to tackle another week of aerobic capacity focus. So we are continuing in the same vein that we started last week. The overall volume goes up from 14 hours last week to 15 hours and 25 minutes. So now we're getting up there, which we should, considering we're training for an Ironman at an advanced level. But depending on what you choose to do with regard to the adjustable duration workouts and the optional ride, you might end up anywhere from between 13 hours 50 minutes to 16 hours 35 minutes. That is the range that we're talking about. And I want to emphasize that you should not be afraid to use these adjustments to make the volume of the plan appropriate for you. That's why we have these options there. Somebody coming from a bit more of a lower volume background and not being used to very high volumes of training might definitely benefit from shortening some of the workouts as prescribed and keep things sustainable for them and make sure that you don't do too big of a jump in volume from one season of training to another. And likewise, somebody who is used to higher volumes of training, 15.5 hours might be not that much for some of you. So increasing to closer to 17 hours might be beneficial if that's you, if you're on that higher volume end of the spectrum. So in addition to volume increasing, we also have the interval sessions where we increase the total work duration of interval work. For example, on the bike, we go from 6 times 3 minutes to 6 times 3.5 minutes. On the swim, we go from a total of 18 times 50 meters or yards to 24 times 50 meters or yards. And on the run, we go from 16 minutes of work at 10K to 5K pace to 20 minutes of work at 10K to 5K pace. So there's still one more week to go, by the way, of this type of training before a deload week. So it's really important to just not trying to do anything epic, neither in terms of volume nor intensity. Just try to do good training consistently day in, day out. On days when you feel tired, go on the easier side of things. And when you feel good, stay disciplined. Don't just waste your energy because you have a good day. See it as, oh, okay, that's great. I feel great and I can run at my high zone 2 without feeling anything, with it feeling like very, very easy. That's fine. That's not a license for me to start to increase the intensity necessarily. So that's the basic strategy. Go easier if you feel tired, but don't go harder if you feel unusually good. Just save that for when it's needed on those really hard days. And for example, if you come to the Wednesday endurance run and last week maybe you went at a pace closer to the higher end of the spectrum, closer to 85% of threshold pace, but this week you feel quite tired and fatigued, then there's absolutely nothing to say that just because last week you did something, you have to do the same or faster this week. That is a very common mistake, but do not fall into that trap. It's totally fine to go at the lower end, 75%. It's more than totally fine. It's what a smart self-coach athlete should be doing. So make sure that you stay sensible in that regard. In terms of workouts and workout highlights, there's not that much to talk about specifically that is different from last week. A brief reminder might be helpful of a couple of things, like the swim, the LT1 swim, with the LT1 swimming being prescribed as steady aerobic effort, or RPE of 4 to 5 out of 10. It's quite common that swimmers go and do these too fast and maybe slow down later in intervals or later in the set, or they just do them all at the same speed, which is fine, but they do them just a bit too fast and it's not really an LT1 effort for them. So rather than going a bit too fast, ease into it a bit from the start and make sure that it really is a steady aerobic effort, not just for the 100, because that's what gets us. Anything can feel reasonably easy for 100 meters, but for 200 meters, it's a different story, not to mention for 400 meters. And here the thing is that you should be able to keep that pace for not just 100 meters, but for 400 meters at least. So see that as your guideline. On the strength and conditioning side, a reminder to do that work first and foremost. It is very important for both performance and injury prevention, and the two, of course, go hand in hand. And also in the longer circuits where you have kettlebell work and you have plyometrics, respect the rest durations. As we talked about in a previous video, they are very, very important. So yeah, don't make the rest shorter than prescribed. In the interval work, the VO2 max intervals on the bike and swim and run, as we talked about before, go in with the strategy or the tactic to always leave with 1 or maybe 2 reps left in the tank, feeling that you could have done them slightly harder if needed, or slightly faster than if needed, or done 1 or 2 more intervals if needed. If you get to the last interval and you just get through it and you feel that's me, absolutely done. I could not have done a single step or a single pedal stroke or swim stroke at this same power anymore, then that's probably a little bit too hard. You should feel that there was a little bit left in the tank to give if you really would have needed it. And one final thing, in terms of the muscle recruitment / biomechanical work we're doing, with that I mean things like strides in running and hill sprints in running, and also the speed work in swimming, the 25s typically, but in some cases it's also 50s. So here you see them. In today's week, it's on Friday, 12 times 25, as well, some of them are fast but relaxed, some of them are very fast, and some very easy. It's a common mistake is to go through the motions with this kind of work and not taking them seriously, not taking them as an opportunity. And I want you to be better than that, to take these workouts as an opportunity to train with great quality, finding great speed and form on the swim, finding great speed and form on the run. Don't just go through the motions and half-ass it. Treat it as if you're a sprinter training for the Olympics, and this is what you put your heart and soul into every single day. Put all of your cognitive effort and your physical effort, even if it's for a very short time, for 10 seconds or 15 seconds, but put all of your effort into these muscle recruitment biomechanical work. It is just a very important type of training that many of us don't realize how important it is. So that's why I wanted to talk about that specifically. All right, that's it for this week. I hope that you're doing well and that you're going to enjoy this week. Good luck, stay healthy, and I'll talk to you next week.